up here now. And there's the Platinum Horn, another one of the artifacts we need. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's a Hellhound. But Hellhounds don't like water, do they? At least I assume they don't. It's holy water, so no, it doesn't like it very much. Yeah, I can only assume that, I mean, the game really doesn't tell you too much on how things are used and whatnot, so I only assume a lot of people were able to figure out things through trial and error. Actually, when I got this game, this was the first game I had ever gotten on the Game Boy Color. And, well, it's the first Game Boy Color... Yeah, anyway, there's a wyvern there, by the way. This is the first Game Boy Color compatible game I ever had. I still had a clunky original Game Boy at the time, but I was still able to play this because it was one of those first compatible ones. And I had a walkthrough in Nintendo Power, so that's how I was able to figure everything out. In fact, that's the reason I wanted the game, was because I looked at the walkthrough. And I'm like, wow, this looks like fun. Anyway, in order to get that thing that we need, if we try to get that thing now, the wyvern's going to kill us, but then we use the star on it, of all things, and it turns into a fireball and decimates him. So we got the talisman. So we got one more door left to go to in here. And we're going to the left here. Now there's lightning and stuff. Now if we use the rod in this little, in this spot, the rod gets struck by lightning, and a hand comes out of the ground. Take from it a wand. Alright, so let's head off to left here. Now there we got a bag and a fancy looking treasure chest. Obviously, we take the bag. If we try to take the treasure chest, a leprechaun comes and kills us. Or, not leprechaun, it makes it too heavy and we fall to our death and like a leprechaun. I think it involves a leprechaun, I don't know. But now we're going to backtrack a lot. We're going to go back to the E4 room for a minute or two. Alright, now we can head back in here. I actually meant to do this a little earlier after we got the gems, so I wouldn't have to come back later, but it turns out we're going to have to come... Well, we would have had to come back later anyway. So, I figure, you know, while we're out here... Oh, I can't move to the blue gem, no. I'm an idiot. We use the blue gem on this notch in the floor. And there's a wizard. The wizard says, "Listen, warrior. The warlock lord can only be defeated by thy courage and the staff of ages. Remember, 5 to find, 3 for the staff, 1 to be the key, and 1 to be thy pathway. Have thy wits about thee, warrior. Fare thee well." And the wizard disappears, and there's a scroll. And this is scroll 2. Let's read the scroll. And we get Humana, which turns us invisible. And you'll see why we'll need to turn invisible in just a bit, but for right now, let's backtrack a little more. Remember this room? What we're going to do, remember I picked up bottle 2? Yeah. We're going to drink what's from bottle 2, because it makes us float, so we can get across the bridge with no problem. And the main reason I'm waited until now to do this is because there's a snake in here. And we actually have to use that wand we got on the snake. So we wouldn't have been able to do anything in here until we got the wand from the place with the lightning. Alright. And we get the staff, which is the last of the... Okay. Basically, the levitation wore off. But that staff is the last of the 5 artifacts we need. So we're ready for endgame. Already, I know, but as I said, this is a very short game if you know what you're doing. Uh-oh. The troll's back, and he's got our spear. But that's alright. If we use the Humana spell, we turn invisible, and we automatically cross the bridge, and the troll is none the wiser for some reason. Now we have to kill the ogre again, obviously, but that's alright. We still have a stone for the sling, because we picked one up earlier. And it's basically just the same thing. Moving right along. Alright, this time we're going to go right. Yes, I can. Don't tell me I can't do that. Okay, so what we're going to do here... Where's the scepter? Here it is. We give the scepter to the king skeleton guy here in the throne room. And there's a hole in the wall. A ring-shaped hole. Ta-da! And there's a way down. We're almost near the end of the game now, folks. Obviously that hole, instant death. Now we don't need those torches. Okay, now these gargoyles will just... If you just try to cross the room on your own, the gargoyles will attack and kill you. But gargoyles don't like light. So we'll use the Illumina spell. The gargoyles have also been affected and have not yet recovered from the spell, so let's head to the right. And, if you read the book, if you haven't, then go back to whatever part it was on when we read the book. Like I said, I was just pretty much skipping through like a lot of the descriptions stuff and leaving you to read it. Like, just, you know, just read it at your leisure, pause it and whatnot. But basically, it described this kind of situation where we would need to use the Motari spell. And one wrong step, and you basically go down in the lava, so that's why I used the mini-map there. Alright. Now, obviously, that's a trap, because there's like a Yeti or something like that living in there, and he will kill you if you go close. Now, remember when I said talked about the pattern that was on the staircase near the Sphinx? Right, down, middle down, right up. And there's an orb in there. And I'm going to correct myself. This is the last artifact that we need. Alright, so let's back up. Back up again. And you can't fool me, game. Gotta use the Illumina spell. I made that same mistake. I made the mistake of just assuming the Illumina spell stayed in effect. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I think that's how that goes. Open the well cover, and then we open up the last bag 3. And there's some big coins and gold coins. Or a big coin and some gold coins. I know we could have given the gold coin to the troll, but I didn't feel like it. He was being mean, and he had a spear, and he was going to kill us. So now first, before we basically go down that well. But before we do that, toss this big coin down there. And then basically that makes like a tornado or something like that appear that will help us safely down the well.